G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is the Plasma Caster, a highly customizable heavy energy weapon that you can get off the Nexus mods if you feel like it. And let's get into the attachments now. So there's a whole slew of attachments here, but what we want to look at is the overclocked and the overclocked Plasma Caster receiver and the turbo Plasma Caster receiver. So the standard, you've got that, and then you've got higher firing speed with lower accuracy with the turbo one. And the overclocked has the best firing speed and worst accuracy, so we'll go ahead and chuck on the fire rate one, why not? Next up for the barrels, this is where it gets kind of interesting, and wow, look at that, that's an interesting bit of thing there. So basically we've got the Pronged Barrel, which for some reason you can't equip. I don't know what the hell's up with that. But you've got the Gatling Barrel, which makes it fire multiple bolts of plasma in a rapid succession. A smaller version of that, a beam, which is mysteriously not able for me to equip that. Maybe I need a perk this weapon mod actually adds, but that's actually kind of interesting there. Next up you've got the plasma cannon, which I assume works a little bit like the BFG, so it's an interesting little thing there. The plasma flamer, which is immensely broken on this weapon. Since the modder didn't change the aim model for this particular attachment, basically this thing gives you a heap of recoil, which is a shame, and I will not be using it. Next up, we've got the Pronged Barrels, which fire explosive plasma bullets. It's a pretty cool thing, and it's got a short variant of that as well if you feel like it. Standard barrel, which I got on now, which fires bolts in a slightly arc. And a super scatter, which spreads multiple plasma bolts into smaller projectiles. I'd imagine this would work well with explosive. So for the barrels, we will go ahead and chuck on the Gatling Barrel. I think that'll definitely work well for me, and I like seeing lots of bolts flying around everywhere. Now for the frame here, right now we've got the aluminium frame, which is standard, and as you can see, it weighs 26 pounds. But you can go ahead and make that heavier if you feel like it, and that'll actually reduce the recoil, so it makes it a little bit realistic. But that makes this thing weigh absurdly a lot, so I'm not going to do that. Next up for the capacitors here, you've got the standard one here which we're using, and it goes all the way up to max charge. And if you go ahead and get fusion power, which I believe is offered by this mod here, you can go ahead and make it powered by fusion cores, but I won't do that. Max charge capacitor is the way to go on this. And of course you've got a legendary slot there if you feel like it, but I'm going to be using this one. But since there's so many barrels attached to this thing, I'm going to go ahead and showcase how they all fire, so you get an idea of what this thing can do. Okay, so it's night here at Spectacle Island, and I'm just going to go and shoot some of the barrels. So this is the standard barrel, and it shoots a little bit like this. So there you go. It's got a little bit of an arc to it, which is nice, and the arc isn't too bad, so it's pretty easy to aim over at long range too. Next up we have none other than the Plasma Caster. So this one is the Gatling Barrel. This is the one I'll be using in Gunner's Plaza, and when you shoot it, it's like a Gatling laser, but it's a lot less accurate, which is a shame. But that's a pretty cool weapon in and of itself. I'm keen to see how that's going to work. The Pronged Barrel over here, so this is, if I could just quickly see that, there's a prong there, and it's looks more like the weapon did in Fallout New Vegas. So if you like this thing in New Vegas, yeah, you can go ahead and outfit it to be like that, and you get a little bit of an explosion at the end of the when it reaches its target too, which is nice. Next up, so the Flamer Barrel. This thing has got tons of recoil onto it, so holding the trigger down and you're straight up in the air. I'm going to attempt to control the recoil for a bit, and as you can see, even I'm struggling a little bit with it. It's quite a hard weapon to use. If you go ahead and make the thing more weighty though, it actually helps you there. For the cannon barrel, you'll actually need to have plasma cartridge cannon rounds for it, which I'll get now. And this thing fires just like this. So it fires very, very slow. The projectiles are kind of like that of the BFG, but instead of traveling super fast, this thing actually fires, yeah, it fires nice and slow, which means if you go ahead and fire it around the corner, chances are you won't kill yourself much with it. But that's a very cool looking projectile indeed. Only problem is the recoil is a little bit on the high side, and most of your projectiles will end up going into space, and I don't think that's very helpful at all. And last but not least, we've got the super scatter barrel, and that was yeah, she likes that, and as you can tell there, this thing fires its projectiles very fast, and there's a whole lot of projectiles running around. Like I said, this thing would go extremely well with explosive, but we might go ahead and check that out later. For now, let's go ahead and head into Gunner's Plaza and see what we can do against these gunners. Righto, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza with our plasma caster, and as you can see here that the rear of this weapon is basically a Gatling laser, so you know that this thing is going to be using the Gatling laser animations.
This isn't working. Time to die.
And if you notice that someone's a little bit more chatty this time, it's because
I'm the new girl.
This is player comments, I should say. So, yeah, so someone's going to be a bit chatty whilst taking out all these gunners, and that was a bad time. So, the problem with this weapon here is that you'll actually run your ammo dry pretty quickly because it's only got 110 ammo capacity, and when you're firing as fast as this, you're going to have a lot of trouble staying in the fight because you'll just blow out all your rounds nice and quickly. The problem with that is getting the plasma ammunition for this is a little bit on the problematic side. It's not the most common stuff.
Goodbye.
But yeah, well, yep, again, I wasn't watching my ammo capacity and didn't really see that I needed to reload. But when you do fire, you can go ahead and get yourself a lot of shots on target. I would imagine that this thing would have really good synergy with really good synergy with Furious.
Let's do it.
Also nice effect on the talking there. Oh, looks like we've got the mysterious stranger. Will he finish off the commander? Nope. Well, apparently he did off screen though. I had to be out of the VATS cam before that happened. But now every gunner and their mother is trying to take me out, so I suppose I should try to slow this down a little bit.
And now it's your turn.
And there we go. Standing still is a nice way to keep all that spread in check. Obviously with the steady aim perk, it makes a lot of good use out of it. There we go. Now what have we got around here? These guys weren't all hostile, were they? I didn't see them on the thing. But we'll take you out. And what else have I got in here? Nothing much. Just this melee gunner. He goes next. And I'll be filling them with as much plasma as they can take, which is actually kind of a lot, all things considered. Nice. Okay, next up we've got the couple of gunners around the corner here, and for some reason, oh, this one's got a gamma gun. Actually, no, you can shoot me a few times, and that'll just heal me.
Lost.
And we'll go ahead and crit your face and see how this thing can do. Finishes off really quickly. Since this thing fires so incredibly fast, for some reason.
And now it's your turn.
If for some reason its VATS is even faster, and thank you for the healing, even though I'm already sort of out of Gunner's Plaza at this point, I don't really need it, but the healing was nice all along. We'll just fill you with plasma and we'll try to get a long range shot against that.
Something like that.
And coming around the corner here for this last little gun there. And we are done with Gunner's Plaza. Obviously this thing packs enough power to clear them out nice and easily, but watch out for your ammo capacity. What are you looking at there? You seen a ghost or something? Nope, we'll move on. Righto, so there's one over there. We've got this thing here. This is the cannon version of this thing, so let's see how we go against one's reincarnation here. Now, as you can see here, this thing actually allows you to fire heaps of times in VATS, and since this is an automatic weapon, you get 3 shots per run, and there goes Swan. It was easy as just lighting him up in VATS, and it was reduced him into a reasonably sized patch of goo here, so I believe...
Wow. Huh. There are no words.
I mean, yeah, how else do I put it? So here's what's left of Swan. He didn't have a lot on him. Actually, what is the legendary bit? Yeah, whatever indeed. So that was it against Swan with the cannon barrel, and definitely better than the BFG there. Bloody hell. we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so this is the super scatter barrel, and over there is a big old version of
You're all gonna die.
Ahab, and well, here's hoping they do. Let's see how this thing does. So this thing is absolutely destroying my frame rate as well as the sound, and I don't think is doing as well as it possibly should. We might need to come back with this with a legendary effect, I think. Okay, so this time I've got the wounding effect onto this, and let's see how this thing does against big Ahab. Oh, he just charged right past me. Alright, everybody brace yourselves and cover your ears, because this is about to get really, really loud. And we'll just keep on filling him with all of the wounding plasma bolts in the world, and we should keep on killing him nice and easily. Look at that health drain. He's getting hit by thousands and thousands of projectiles and thousands of wounding damage there. And I think the sound has glitched to the point where even the AI is having a hiccup, and it's gonna catch up someday, believe me when I say that. And get away from his explosion, because I think it does a heap more damage, and the secondary explosion, because he is legendary. Alright, after letting the sound catch up there for a second, yeah, that is Ahab dead.
I don't care.
Okay, that's enough. And
Whatever.
she's talking back to me now. It's a revolt here. And yeah, that was Ahab there, and he went down pretty quickly. Obviously, this thing is going to go very well with wounding, but yeah, that was just a little bit of a snapshot showcase of what this weapon can be. And if you're interested, I urge you to go ahead and download it yourself and find out how this thing goes with your playstyle, or whether you like this thing at all. Links will be in the description. Also, if you like the mod where you comment on everything and it turns your soul survivor into a snarky, sarcastic woman, I'll just censor myself there. Be sure to check out, I think it's player comments and head tracking is what I've installed, and it's a little neat little bit of mod. Adds a little bit of character to your soul survivor, and it's for PC only because it requires a script extender. So sorry console users, you can't have this unfortunately. But there you go. Thank you for watching, guys.